Riley Carter sank into the weathered rocking chair on their hunting lodge's porch, a steaming mug of coffee warming their hands. The sun hung low, painting the endless pine forest in a golden glow, the air sharp with sap and earth, alive with birdsong and the whisper of leaves in a gentle breeze. Tucked deep in the backwoods, miles from civilization, this was the solitude Riley had dreamed of, a sanctuary from the city's relentless grind. After a decade of corporate deadlines and urban noise, they'd poured every dime into this retreat, envisioning mornings like this, untouched by anything but nature's rhythm. It was perfect, or so they thought. Real life has a knack for kicking down even the sturdiest doors, and Riley's escape was about to collide with a predator in a blazer. The crunch of tires on gravel snapped Riley from their reverie. A sleek black sedan rolled up the winding drive, its polished surface glinting like a blade in the dawn. Riley's grip tightened on the mug. No one came out here. The lodge was an hour from the nearest town, a speck even locals avoided. The car stopped, engine purring ominously, and out stepped Lorraine Mitchell. Her self-important swagger and power-hungry glint were unmistakable, her crisp blazer and skirt screaming corporate middle management, though she clearly hadn't a clue what that job entailed. Slamming the door with a thud that echoed through the trees, she strode toward the lodge, heels clicking on uneven ground like a metronome of entitlement. Before Riley could stand, Lorraine was hammering the door, her knocks sharp and insistent. With a reluctant sigh, Riley set the coffee aside and shuffled over, expecting a lost traveler or a neighbor with a flat tire. Instead, Lorraine thrust a thick stack of papers into their chest the moment the door creaked open. "Hi, I'm Lorraine," she announced, voice dripping with smug satisfaction, lips curling into a smile that didn't touch her eyes. "I'm here to collect your back HOA dues, $3,000. Riley froze, brain scrambling. Back? What HOA? They'd scoured listings for this lodge for its isolation. No neighbors, no rules, just wilderness. An HOA hadn't crossed their mind. Lorraine barreled on, unfazed. "You're behind on payments. It's mandatory for the Homeowners Association. If you don't settle within 30 days, we'll pursue legal action." Riley stared, disbelief morphing into a slow burn of irritation. "Hold on. What are you talking about? This is a hunting lodge in the middle of nowhere. There's no HOA here." Lorraine tilted her head, her smile sharpening into something predatory. "Oh, it's all in the fine print. Didn't read your contract carefully, did you?" "I didn't know there was a contract," Riley snapped, struggling to keep their tone even. "I'm pretty sure this place isn't part of any HOA. You've got the wrong address." Her eyes narrowed. "You'd better figure it out fast. These dues are required for everyone in this area, and I'm the one who makes sure you pay. The HOA has full legal authority here." A cold unease settled in Riley's stomach. This didn't add up. A remote lodge, bought for its seclusion, now targeted by a random woman demanding thousands. It felt too slick, too rehearsed, like a scam polished to perfection. Lorraine's smug certainty screamed she knew it was shaky, but didn't care. This lodge was Riley's lifeline, a hard-earned escape from stress and burnout. They'd pored over maps, driven hours to inspect it, signed papers in a frenzy of excitement. All for this slice of freedom. Now Lorraine stood there, radiating arrogance, wielding her supposed HOA like a club to pry it away. "Just pay the dues," she said, voice syrupy sweet, "and this all disappears." Riley clenched their fists, resisting the urge to slam the door. Instead, they forced a tight smile. "Thanks for stopping by, but I think you've got the wrong person." Lorraine didn't blink. "I'll be back in a week. If the money's not ready, the HOA takes it further. Legal trouble's no picnic, right?" She pivoted, tucked the papers under her arm, and sauntered back to her car, tossing a final glance over her shoulder, daring Riley to defy her. The sedan roared off, leaving Riley clutching documents that had no business being there, anger simmering beneath shock. This wasn't a cinematic showdown. It was a real-life shakedown by a power-tripping con artist in the wrong neck of the woods. Riley wasn't rolling over. They'd dealt with Lorraine before. Months back, they'd caught her siphoning water from their well for her overgrown garden plot a mile off, unpermitted. Riley had retaliated by flushing her lines with sewage from the lodge's septic system, a petty but satisfying jab that sent her packing. That was small fry compared to this. Slamming the door, Riley spread the papers across the kitchen table. Pages stamped Pine Ridge HOA cited dues for a community that didn't exist out here. No paved roads, no streetlights, just trees and silence. An HOA in the wilderness? Laughable, except Lorraine wasn't joking. This was a setup, and Riley was done playing nice. A sharp knock broke their thoughts. Not Lorraine this time, but Evan Brooks, a wiry man in a faded jacket, a contractor's badge pinned crookedly to his chest. His face mixed apology and urgency. "You're not going to believe this," he said, stepping inside without waiting. "The HOA is not just after your money, they're after your land." Riley's jaw tightened. "My land? This is private property." Evan held up his hands, bracing for the outburst he knew was coming. "They've been eyeing spots like yours for years, pushing owners out to build some ritzy development. Dues, fines, whatever it takes till you're desperate enough to sell cheap." Riley's blood ran hot. This wasn't a petty fee grab, it was a calculated heist. "They think I'll just hand over my place?" Evan shrugged, scratching his stubbled jaw. "That's their game. Most folks don't fight. Pay up or give in. But you're not the only one they've hit." A spark ignited in Riley. They hadn't clawed their way to this refuge to lose it to a paper-pushing bully. "Who's running this?" Evan glanced out the window, lowering his voice. "Not just the HOA. Big shots, developers, lawyers, maybe local politicos. The HOA's their front." Riley's mind churned. This was a syndicate, and they'd stumbled into its crosshairs. "You're not alone," Evan added, sensing their resolve. "Others want them stopped. They need someone to lead." Riley nodded, jaw set. "Then I'm digging in. They want a war. They've got one." Evan warned, "Watch your back." They've got eyes everywhere. Retreat wasn't in Riley's playbook. Over the next few days, they dove into research, property deeds, old town records, hushed talks with ex-HOA defectors. The picture was grim. A sprawling scheme to annex the region, cloaked as community dues. Holes riddled the HOA's claims, no legal grip on Riley's land. They reached out to lawyers, piecing together a defense. By Saturday, Riley had a solid case brewing, but Lorraine wouldn't slink away quietly. Then their phone buzzed. An unknown number. "Riley, sit down," a shaky voice rasped. "I've got intel to bury them. An insider." "Who are you?" Riley pressed. "Can't say. Too dangerous. Lorraine's not some grunt. She's wired to heavy hitters. Dig her ties. Developers, power players. Follow the cash." The call cut off. Heart racing, Riley fired up their laptop. Land sales, shell companies. A name surfaced. Victor Gray, a developer notorious for bulldozing obstacles, linked to Lorraine. He connected to Miles Tanner, a councilman greasing zoning laws for Victor's empire. This was organized crime in khakis, and Riley's lodge was their next domino. Files vanished. Leads dried up. Someone was scrubbing evidence. But Riley unearthed a gold mine, a recorded summit where Lorraine, Victor, and Miles schemed to carve up the woods for profit. Proof, but incomplete. They needed Victor's private records, locked behind his influence. Out of options, Riley called Nora Hayes, a reclusive hacker with a grudge against suits like Victor. "If we nail him, he pays," Riley swore. Nora grinned, cracking his system in a late-night blur. Emails, permits, a blueprint of corruption. Then Evan rang, voice tight. "They know you're onto them. Get out now." "I've got it all," Riley countered. "I'm not running." "They'll crush you," Evan pleaded. Too late. The truth was Riley's weapon, and they were swinging. At a roadside diner, Riley met Claire Don, a reporter who'd tailed Victor's crew for months. She pored over the files, Lorraine's threats, Victor's deals, Miles's votes, eyes blazing. This is dynamite. We're publishing tomorrow. Relief washed over Riley, cut short by a loud bang on the door. Claire yanked them behind the counter. HOA, a voice barked. We know Riley's here. Pulse hammering, Riley braced. 2 suits entered. One, Paul Reed, sneered, "Drop this or it gets messy." Riley stood tall. "Too late. It's out. You're finished." Paul's glare promised trouble, but he left. Claire smirked. Front page, dawn, they're toast. Morning broke with Pine Ridge fraud exposed. Lorraine, Victor and Miles were named, evidence splashed across papers and screens. Phones buzzed, locals stormed town hall, demanding justice. Lorraine bolted. House sold overnight, car vanished. Victor faced indictments. Miles quit. Disgraced. At a raucous meeting under flickering lights, residents torched the HOA, reclaiming their land.